Okay, call it math, call it science, call it logic math, call it clairvoyance, call it spirituality. But sometimes people just know things, all right? It's kind of like how I know when I go through my mail that I don't need this one and I don't need this one. And this looks like it's really handwritten, but it's actually not handwritten. And this is trash as well because all of this is pretty much like, look at this, cigars, I don't need that. Home services, I don't need that because I don't own a home. This, I could look through this sometime, but really, because I have no kids and I don't eat meat, none of this is going to help me at all because there's really no vegan food in this town. This I need. This is about my student loans, but thankfully I'm still in an income-based repayment plan. I do have $80,000 in student loan debt, but actually I've never made enough money in a field that I've studied in so that I could actually pay these student loans. This I don't need. I know I don't need this because I'm already in credit card debt. This is also a credit card offer, which I don't need that. This is interesting. This is an interesting offer. I might be interested in this. It is now internet, now mobile, $55 a month, exactly what you want and nothing you don't. No hidden fees, no annual contract, no catch. I might be interested in this. This is an internet service that I am using. It is like a monthly prepaid thing that I do, that I found because I found Wi-Fi connected to now, and it's very elusive. I can't figure it all out. I've called them trying to figure it out because sometimes I get dropped from my internet, and now it's saying $55 a month. This might be the best internet plus mobile that I have actually seen so far, but I feel like there's a catch somewhere. I'm gonna probably keep that. This says time sensitive, and it's like a little manila folder. And this is like branding and marketing, right? I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna prove to you right now that I don't actually need this, but it gets sent to me anyway, which is actually a big waste of paper. Lending Club, eligible for Bianca Noir. You've been pre-selected for a personal loan to start paying down debt fast. Pre-selected for up to $5,000, rates as low as 8.5 APR up to 35.89 APR. Get up to a 5% APR discount with a debt payment paydown loan. Congratulations, thanks to your credit history, you've been pre-selected to apply for a personal loan from Lending Club. This offer unlocks special loan terms reserved for a few like you. With a personal loan, you can save by consolidating and paying down high interest debt while also benefiting from one fixed monthly payment. Apply today and you could get your funds fast. I don't need this for multiple reasons. I don't need something like this because the type of debt that I have, this is actually, doing this would actually hurt me because actually I'm not paying interest on any of my debt right now because I figured out how to negotiate that. And I've started with credit cards. I've moved everything over to credit cards where I don't have pay an interest rate right now, and it is only but that is for a limited time only. So I have to pay these credit cards down. So see, what people don't understand is I have to pay these credit cards down like soon, or I'm going to start paying a lot of interest, and it's going to get out of control, really out of control, and then nobody's really going to pay it down. I mean, when I went to school, this had to do with my ex-husband. My ex-husband thought we should take out student loans together, and in order for us to take out student loans, we had to be married, and we were against marriage to begin with. So then I go in $80,000 in debt and have a divorce from this man who was a mess. The whole thing was a mess. I'm in $80,000 student loan debt. It isn't an income-based repayment plan. I like that, but how am I ever going to pay down this student loan debt? Okay. There is basically nothing that I could do to pay down the student loan debt that would pay it off fast unless I get a high-paying CEO job, or I start making money with something new, something like my own enterprise, maybe jumping on board with technology, AI, a startup. I need a high-paying job. That's how I'm going to pay this off, because some of this had to do with computer science, and I got cut off from receiving student loans at a certain point because they said I was at my net aggregate maximum for student loans, which is, I guess, around $70,000 or $80,000. I mean, the magnitude of this debt is outrageous. It's outrageous. I started when I was 20 years old. I was raised not to use credit. I was raised that way, but it set me up to fail to such a severe degree that I would never survive because I needed credit, and I was not raised knowing anything about credit. I was not helped with credit cards. I was not co-signed. Nobody got me an apartment to myself. I had to go out and pay out of pocket for everything because I didn't know anything and I didn't have any co-sign or anything like that. So this debt that I have actually really isn't even my fault. I mean, you can say that it's my fault because I'm an individual, I'm an American, and we are all held responsible as adults for our own actions. So this goes on my credit report, so that makes me responsible for $80,000 in debt. But I couldn't control my relationship at all, and I was financially exploited, but yet that still falls upon me as the female in the relationship that I was in with my ex, who I was married to at the time, to get the student loans and the financial aid services. And then I'm left with $80,000 in debt, and he just does whatever he wants in his downward spiral of deceit and greed and selfishness, which is actually very, very selfish the way he lives as an anti-capitalist, doing whatever it takes to fund himself, similar to what is going on in politics. I mean, it's ridiculous. This right here, progressive, I do not need this because I do not have a car. I do not need progressive, Capital One. I do not need this because I have already applied for this credit card. I applied for this credit card, Quicksilver, and I see people going through with Quicksilver, right? This, by the way, this is not, you should know, this is not actually your credit card. This is just means you're pre-approved, right? So you go through and you get these right here, and you have to like know something about business math to even get started with credit. And I will just tell you right now, I have had problems with Quicksilver card. I had major problems with Quicksilver, major problems, and they closed my card on me out of nowhere, and I needed it for things. And also the just lets you know the annual percentage rate, the APR, is 0 introductory through 2026. After that, your APR will be 28.24%, which is known to be high. Now, that kind of math, okay, please don't come for me. Please don't come for me. But that kind of math, I don't really do in my head, but estimations, logic and reasoning, calculus concepts, some calculus concepts I do have. Math in my head, seeing math problems, seeing numbers, I don't see them in my head. I have instincts right here, right? I do not need this, right? You know. You just know. Okay? You know you don't need this one. You know. When you see it, you don't need it. And then people wonder why there's a bunch of ripped up documents in my trash, and that's because they sent it directly to me. This stuff, it says my name on it, and I've thrown it away. What kind of statement does that set? What kind of statement do you think that sets? If anybody sees it in my trash, if anybody goes through my trash, you will know that I know I do not need this stuff. You know, you do not need this. You do not need it. You need what you need, not what other people tell you you need, not what bureaucrats tell you you need, not what people in business tell you. You need what you need. You have personal needs. You have survival needs. I need this cup of coffee right now because I love coffee. Okay? You need what you need. You know what you need. You know.